What's good, Gambinos? It's your boy, the gaming mobster, Screwface Capone, and I'm back with another video. This time we're going to take it back into the past with the Speed Rumbler. It's an arcade game from Capcom that was released in 1986. Now, this isn't some kind of lost classic or hidden gem or anything like that. It's just that this game has some sentimental value for me. You see, during summer break when I was a 12-year-old, our dryer had broke down. So mom would take me and my brother to the laundromat since it was summer break and we needed something to do. There they had 3 arcade cabinets, a pinball machine, Miss Pac-Man, and the star of our show, the Speed Rumbler. So obviously, me and my bro were attracted to the Speed Rumbler cabinet. I noticed the Capcom logo, and at the time, all I really knew about the company was from Mega Man, Final Fight, Street Fighter, and a bunch of Disney games. Now, I obviously wouldn't put the Speed Rumbler on the same level. It has unique old school charm and feel to it that only Capcom could bring at the time. When you start playing the Speed Rumbler, you'll notice that it shares some similarities to the movie Mad Max. It nails that post-apocalyptic look and feel to it almost perfect. Well, as perfect as you can get in a 1986 arcade game. You play as a Special Forces soldier. His name is Top in the Japanese version, and his name is Super Joe in the US version. So, by the way, that's not the same Super Joe as the hero of the Capcom game Commando. I'll talk more about it later. Your family has been kidnapped by a terrorist group named Zapper. Gotta love the dialogue. And you have a short amount of time to save them. Therefore, you hop in your car and drive through 6 stages in order to bring them down. The second thing you'll notice about the Speed Rumbler is that the car actually controls like a vehicle. That means when you change directions, momentum and physics come into play. It takes some getting used to and it makes things tedious at first, but when you're weaving in and out of danger, it makes it feel all that more satisfying. Your car can shoot bullets at enemies and you can even run down enemy troops. Scattered throughout the map are prison cells, and if you break them, you can rescue the person inside to gain a power-up. The bazooka upgrades your weapon, the med kit repairs your car, the wrench increases your life bar, or you can simply get extra points. Be careful because your ride can get destroyed and will be destroyed quite often. Once your car bursts into flames, you have a few precious seconds to hop out. You then have to huff it on foot for a few seconds until you either get killed or your friends pull up with a new car. You can still shoot your gun and do a roll maneuver, but chances are you won't last long. This is an 80s arcade game, so the difficulty will spike rather quickly. There are a ton of enemies in your way, and there are also traps and dangers that can kill you in one hit. It doesn't help that some of the roadways are narrow, and there are even pitfalls along the side at times that are all too easy to fall into. Each time you get killed, you get sent back to the last checkpoint. However, this shaves precious seconds off your clock. Once you run out of time, you have to restart at the beginning of the stage. This is one of those games designed to milk you for credits. Of course, nowadays you can find it in a compilation or play it in an emulator with save states, so that kinda makes things easier. There's a good amount of variety throughout each stage, and the graphics do a good job of making each level stand out. Obviously, you aren't going to care about the scenery as you're racing through, but it's good to not have to look at the same visuals over and over again. The music doesn't seem like it would fit a post-apocalyptic themed setting though. Don't get me wrong, it's catchy, but it sounds like something you'd hear in a 60s spy drama rather than Mad Max. So, back to the player's name. As I stated earlier, his name in the Japanese version was Top, but in the English version, his name is Super Joe. As my older heads know, Super Joe was also the protagonist in Commando, along with the arcade version of Bionic Commando. This is more of a localization thing, as Capcom likely didn't intend for all 3 of these games to take place in the same universe. Of course, the only major link that they have is that legendary former Capcom game designer Takeru Fujiwara created all 3 of these games. So with that out the way, I'm going to give this one an old school grade. I'll give it a B-. Again, it's not a lost classic or a hidden gem of any sort. It's just a fun old school game that had sentimental value for me. While the gameplay tends to be more difficult than it needs to be at times, and that's putting it lightly, the controls feel unique, and once you master them, it's all the more satisfying as you make it through each area. It's got that old school charm that you can only get from Capcom games from that period. Even today, there aren't many titles like it. I'm surprised this game didn't get that many home ports. This would have been a perfect fit for the TG16 or the Sega Genesis. To my knowledge, however, the only home console port this game received was the Commodore 64 port, and that was released in 1987. Ports for the ZX Spectrum and the NES were planned, but were cancelled. These days, it's not hard to find this game if you want to play it. It's available as part of Capcom Arcade Stadium 2nd, which is available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Steam, and Nintendo Switch, along with Capcom Arcade Cabinet for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Although be warned, the game has to be purchased as separate DLC in both these packages. You can also get it on Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2 for the Xbox and PlayStation 2. And of course, you can also get your Jack Sparrow on if you don't feel like paying for it. And that was the Speed Rumbler. As I stated, it's nothing special, especially compared to other old school Capcom games from that period, but playing it these days brings back memories. And for what it is, it's a fun way to kill a half hour. I could easily see a sequel to this, which would maybe add in an open world, or maybe even roguelike elements. Maybe you can make your way through procedurally generated levels, try to last as long as possible, and upgrade your car's abilities. Maybe add in a multiplayer mode. Let me know what you think. There are a ton of ways to approach this. So if you made it to this point in the video, I want you to do me a solid and tell me what your favorite old school Capcom game was. And by old school, I mean anything before 1996. I don't care about Marvel vs. Capcom, Resident Evil, or Devil May Cry. I mean, I do like those games, but I'm focusing on old school. If you enjoyed this video, do me another solid and give it a like. Also, feel free to share it. My channel features everything from retro content to indie games, reviews, previews, to the occasional tech unboxing. So if all that sounds good to you, hit that big red subscribe button to join the Mafia, and I'll make you a made man. If you click the bell icon and turn your notifications on, you'll be notified as soon as I drop a new video. If you like old school gaming, I have a whole playlist of cool videos, and it just popped up on your screen, so check it out. In the meantime, have a great rest of your weekend, and I'm Audi 51000G, y'all.